Welcome back, everyone. We're diving deep today into a book called When It's Over.
And this one tackles something I think we've all dealt with.
Oh, absolutely.
The end of relationships.
Yeah, exactly. And not just romantic ones either, right?
Oh, no, not at all.
Talking friendships.
Family dynamics.
Work relationships even.
And what I think is so interesting is how the author uses real stories to talk about these complicated dynamics.
It's not just theory. It's real people dealing with the
messiness.
A mess of it all.
Human connection, right?
Yeah.
So the book starts by kind of digging into this idea of trust erosion.
Okay.
And you know that feeling when you just constantly second guess everything someone's saying or doing?
Yeah.
You're just like analyzing every single word, looking for a hidden meaning.
Oh, yeah.
The author actually talks about their own experience with this and how they went to couples therapy to try and address it. I thought that was so interesting, the way they described that whole journey.
Me too, yeah.
Like how they finally learned to really listen.
Right. Instead of...
Not just waiting to talk, you know?
Right, exactly.
But actually hearing what their partner was trying to say.
I love that.
And then how even like small gestures help to kind of like rebuild that foundation.
Right. Like it's not just about like patching over cracks. You're trying to rebuild.
Yeah, you're reinforcing the whole structure.
Yeah.
It's like if you have a crack in a foundation, if you don't fix it,
the whole thing.
The whole house is going to fall apart.
Going to crumble, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, trust is out the window.
Right.
What are some other signs that a relationship is headed for trouble?
Well, the book talks about this thing called communication breakdown.
Okay.
It's basically where people just stop talking.
Like Ava's story.
Yeah, exactly like that.
Remember where they just totally shut down?
Oh, the silent treatment.
It was deafening, that silence. So is that like the main thing, communication?
Well, that's a big one.
Okay.
But it also talks about this thing called emotional disconnect.
Okay.
And that's where, you know, you're not even really talking.
Yeah.
But you're also just not really there.
Not present.
Yeah, even if you're physically in the same room.
You're living separate lives.
Exactly.
Even though you're under the same roof.
Yeah, and there's even like a quiz in there.
Really?
To help you see if that's happening in your own relationships.
That's cool.
It asks things like, do you feel heard? Do you still share your dreams with each other?
Oh, wow. So it's like...
It's really insightful.
Holding a mirror up to your relationship and seeing what's really going on? Okay, so we're talking about these breakdowns, right?
Right.
But the book doesn't just focus on that.
No.
It talks about how to spot those red flags early on.
The warning signs.
Exactly.
Before things get really bad.
Before they go too far, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not just romantic relationships.
Yeah, not at all.
It's friendships, family.
Absolutely.
Everything.
And one of the biggest red flags across the board.
What is it?
Lack of communication.
It's so true, though.
It's like that.
Communication is key.
Yeah. But the book takes it a step further.
Okay.
It says, communication is the foundation of a healthy connection.
Uh-huh.
Without it, relationships crumble like houses built on sand.
Wow. I like that.
It's not enough to just talk.
Right.
It has to be open.
Yeah.
Honest.
Respectful. Where everyone feels heard.
Exactly.
Okay, now think about your own relationships for a second. Have you ever been in a situation where you just ignored those warning signs?
Yeah.
You know?
I think we all have at some point.
Lack of communication, maybe there's a power imbalance, or even like hints of abuse.
Right.
Like imagine how much heartache we could avoid.
Oh, absolutely.
If we just learned to recognize those red flags sooner, right?
Yeah, the book really emphasizes trusting your gut.
Yeah.
And paying attention to those little cues that something isn't quite right.
So we've talked about trust erosion, communication breakdowns,
Right.
those early warning signs. But what about when a relationship just takes a really toxic turn?
Well, the book has a whole section on toxic relationships.
And they focus mostly on
friendships.
Which I feel like can be even harder than a romantic breakup.
Yeah, because there's not as much support for it.
Right, exactly.
Like it can feel very isolating.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the book says breaking free from those toxic connections is so important for your well-being.
Okay, but how do you actually do that?
It's all about setting boundaries.
Okay, but that's not just saying no more.
It's more than that.
Yeah.
It's about communicating what you will and will not tolerate and backing it up with your actions.
Oh, so it's like drawing a line in the sand.
Exactly.
And saying,
this is where my self-respect begins.
Okay, I love that.
And sometimes that means creating some distance.
Yeah.
Or even ending the friendship completely.
Wow.
But it's not a failure.
Okay.
It's self-care.
That's a good way to look at it.
It's recognizing your worth.
And then it goes on to talk about
family dynamics,
family.
Which can be a whole other playing field, yeah.
Please.
For anyone who's ever felt
Suffocated, yeah.
trapped
by their family.
This section is for you.
Really eye-opening.
Here's a big takeaway.
Okay, I'm ready.
Setting boundaries with family isn't about cutting ties.
Yeah.
It's about protecting yourself.
Oh, that's a good distinction.
It's saying, I love you, but I need my space.
I love that.
I have my own needs.
Yeah.
My own identity.
Okay, so we've talked friendships, family.
Right.
But let's not forget about romantic relationships.
Of course not.
That roller coaster.
The book gets into incompatibility, toxic love,
all the good stuff.
And it highlights some key things to look out for.
Okay, like what?
Well, misaligned values.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Different communication styles.
Like if one person's super direct, the other's not.
Exactly. And even those little lifestyle differences.
Yeah.
Like one person's a homebody, the other one loves to go out.
Yeah. Seems cute at first, but
can be a big problem down the road.
Totally.
And when it comes to toxic love, the book doesn't hold back.
Okay.
It talks about emotional abuse, gaslighting,
All that.
manipulation, all the things that make you question your reality.
Like something's not right.
Right.
But you just can't put your finger on it.
Yeah, because they're so good at twisting things.
Exactly.
And the author actually shares their own experience with that.
Oh, wow.
It's very powerful.
Yeah.
And it reminds you that you're not alone.
So we've talked about the tough stuff, the breakdowns, the red flags, the toxicity.
Right.
But when it's over, it doesn't leave you hanging there.
No, it doesn't.
It gives you strategies for moving on, embracing those new beginnings.
And that's where it really shines, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
There's so much practical advice in there.
For everything, really.
Yeah, from rediscovering self-love to finding closure, embracing your independence.
Building resilience.
All of it.
And here's where I have my big aha moment.
Oh, tell me.
It doesn't just talk about moving on.
Okay.
It talks about moving forward.
Oh, I love that. It's about growth.
It is.
Learning from your experiences.
Yeah.
Using them to fuel your future.
Not just dwelling on the past. Taking those lessons. And using them to create something better.
Exactly. And that involves embracing change.
Even when it's scary.
Even when it's terrifying.
Yeah.
The book talks about all those big transitions, changing careers, moving to a new city.
Redefining who you are.
And it encourages you to see those as opportunities.
Right. Not as obstacles.
Not as setbacks.
So it's like, okay, this is happening. What can I learn from this?
Right.
How can I use this to grow?
It's about changing your perspective from why is this happening to me? What can I gain from this?
Powerful.
It's a powerful shift.
It is, but
it's hard to let go of control.
Oh, tell me about it.
Especially after a relationship ends.
We want what's familiar.
Yeah.
Even if it's not good for us.
Even if it's hurting us.
Yeah.
And the book talks about that too.
It does.
It says that trying to control everything, especially after a breakup, can actually create more suffering.
Oh, wow.
It's like trying to hold on to sand.
The tighter you grip,
the more it slips away.
That's so true.
So it encourages you to surrender.
Okay.
Trust that things will work out.
Even if it's not.
Even if it's not your plan.
Exactly how you planned it.
Right.
Okay, so surrender.
And finding closure.
This is the big one for me.
Oh, yeah.
I used to think closure was all about getting answers. Apologies.
Right.
That sense of finality.
Yeah, like a period at the end of the sentence.
Exactly.
But the book really challenges that.
Okay.
It says that closure isn't always about the other person.
So it's more about you.
It's about finding peace within yourself.
Wow. Okay.
And there are different ways to do that.
Michael.
Writing a letter you never send. Creating a ritual. Something symbolic to let go.
I like that.
It's about finding what works for you.
Yeah, because everyone's different.
Exactly.
So we've talked about letting go, surrendering control, finding closure.
Yeah.
But the book doesn't just leave you there.
No, it doesn't.
It encourages you to honor the past, learn from your experiences, and use those lessons to build a better future.
Exactly. It's about acknowledging those who came before you.
Okay.
Understanding how their stories shaped your own and bringing those lessons into your present life.
It's like those family stories
Yeah.
that get passed down through generations,
They become part of your story.
whether you like it or not.
Exactly. But the book doesn't want you to just passively accept them.
Okay.
It wants you to create a new narrative.
So you're not just defined by the past.
Right. You get to choose your own story.
Okay. That's where it gets really exciting.
Yeah.
Taking control of your own destiny.
Right.
But how do you actually do that?
It all starts with setting intentions and goals.
So you're saying if you don't have a vision,
You'll just drift.
you'll just drift.
Aimlessly.
It's like that saying, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there.
Exactly. But if you have a destination in mind, it gives you purpose.
You're not just wandering around.
No, you're charting your own course.
Okay.
And the book says, be specific.
With your goals?
With your goals, yeah.
Okay.
What do you want to achieve? How will you know when you get there? What steps do you need to take?
Break it down into manageable chunks.
Exactly.
But even with a clear goal, it can still feel scary to actually start.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
And that's where embracing your independence comes in.
So it's not just saying, I can do this on my own.
Right.
It's developing the skills, the mindset.
The confidence
to actually take ownership
of your life.
of your own life.
Yeah.
Which can be scary.
Yeah. Especially if you've been relying on someone else.
For so long.
Yeah, for support.
It's validation.
But the book highlights the power of that self-sufficiency.
Oh.
It's like you rediscover your own strength.
Yeah.
And realize you're capable of so much more
Than you thought.
than you ever imagined.
And then this is my favorite part.
Oh, tell me.
It talks about embracing your passions.
Yes.
Those things that you maybe put on hold.
While you're in the relationship.
Yeah.
It's about reconnecting with those things that make you come alive.
That bring you joy.
Yeah.
Like, maybe you always wanted to learn to paint or play an instrument, write a blog, I don't know.
Whatever it is.
Whatever lights you up.
The book wants you to rekindle those passions.
Yeah.
Even if it's just for you.
No pressure.
No pressure.
To be good at it.
Exactly.
Just for the pure joy of it.
It's about making them a part of who you are.
I love that.
It's about celebrating those little wins along the way.
So you build that momentum, that confidence.
Yeah, you see that you can do it.
Okay, so we've talked about letting go.
Right.
Embracing change.
Honoring the past.
Setting goals.
Finding closure.
Rediscovering passions.
Embracing independence.
All of it.
It's a lot.
But ultimately,
Yeah.
it comes back to building a better future.
It does.
I think-
What's so great about the book is it says building a better future.
Yeah.
It's not a destination. It's an ongoing process.
Like a journey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about setting those intentions, making conscious choices every day, and working towards your goals.
Even when there are setbacks.
Even when things get tough.
So you're saying it's about embracing the journey.
It is.
Knowing there will be bumps along the way,
Absolutely.
but trusting that you can handle them.
You have the strength.
You're resilient.
The resilience, yeah.
And that you're resourceful. And that you're the architect of your own life.
You have the power. You get to decide.
To create a future that's full of meaning and joy.
I love that.
So for anyone feeling lost.
Or heartbroken, uncertain.
This book reminds you that you are not defined by your past.
You are not your circumstances.
You can create a future that is even brighter
than you can imagine.
And it gives you the tools to do it.
It's a guidebook.
It is.
For anyone who's ready to let go.
Of what no longer serves them.
Yeah, and step into a future.
That is aligned with their values.
With their true selves.
So as we kind of wrap up this first part of our deep dive, I'm curious, what's resonated with you the most so far?
What's really stuck with you?
Yeah, the book talks a lot about closure. But what does closure really mean to you?
Like, how do you find it?
How might you seek it out in different areas of your life?
Think about your own relationships.
Yeah.
The ones that have ended, the ones that are maybe struggling right now.
Yeah.
What red flags have you ignored?
What boundaries do you need to set?
What can you do today
to
start building that brighter future?
Keep those questions in mind.
Yeah.
As you continue to explore these ideas from when it's over.
And remember, the end of one chapter
is just the beginning of another.
The possibilities are endless.
When you embrace change.
Cultivate self-love.
And step boldly into that unknown.
Exactly.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you next time for another insightful exploration.
Looking forward to it.
See ya. So we left off talking about self-love.
Yes, the foundation of it all.
Right, and I think a lot of people hear that phrase.
Yeah.
And they just think like, bubble baths and face masks.
Oh, absolutely. It gets kind of
It's become a cliche
a
almost.
little bit watered down, yeah.
This book, it goes deeper.
Oh, much deeper.
It talks about self-love as like this radical act
Mm-hmm.
of kindness
Yeah, directed inward.
towards yourself.
Exactly.
Like recognizing your worth.
Accepting yourself, flaws, and all
of it.
Yeah.
And treating yourself with the same respect.
That you would give to someone you love.
Exactly. Like you would never
Right.
talk to a friend the way Cray.
Yeah, sometimes we're so mean to ourselves.
Oh, I know.
It's like we're our own worst critics.
The worst.
And the book really emphasizes that you can't pour from an empty cup.
Oh, that's so true.
You have to fill your own cup first.
Before you can give to others.
Right. You can't show up for anyone else.
If you're running on empty.
If you're depleted. Yeah.
So it's not selfish
No.
to prioritize your own well-being
It's essential.
for healthy relationships.
It's everything, really.
Yeah, it's like they say on airplanes.
Put your own oxygen mask on first.
Before helping others.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered so much in this deep dive.
We have.
Recognizing the signs of a relationship ending. Spotting those red flags early.
Those warning signs.
Navigating those toxic connections.
Right.
Finding closure.
Embracing change.
Rekindling passions.
Cultivating self-love.
All of it. But ultimately,
Yeah.
it all comes back to building a better future
It does.
for yourself.
And I love how the book frames that
How?
as an ongoing process,
Okay.
not like a destination you reach.
Not a finish line.
Yeah, it's about setting those intentions,
Mm-hmm.
making conscious choices every day,
Yeah.
and just continuing to work towards your goals.
Even when there are setbacks,
Even when you stumble.
it's about embracing that journey, right?
It is.
Knowing there'll be ups and downs,
There will be.
but trusting that you can handle them.
Yeah, you have the strength.
You're resilient,
You're resourceful.
and you have the power
Yes.
to create the life you want.
You are the architect of your own life.
I love that analogy.
It's so empowering.
And, for anyone who's feeling lost,
heartbroken.
uncertain about the future,
Yeah.
this book reminds you
Mm-hmm.
that you're not defined by your past.
Not at all.
You're not limited by your circumstances.
You can create a future
That's even brighter,
than you can imagine.
and it gives you the steps to actually do it.
It's a guidebook
It really is.
for creating a life
That you love.
that's aligned with your true self.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
I hope you're walking away with some hope, feeling empowered,
Absolutely.
and maybe even with some tools
Yeah, some practical strategies.
to help you navigate those endings in your own life.
Because every ending
Yeah.
is an opportunity
beginning.
to redefine yourself,
Rewrite your story.
create a future
That's even more fulfilling.
than you ever thought possible.
And even though our deep dive is coming to a close, keep exploring these concepts
Keep asking those tough questions.
and keep seeking out those resources
Yeah.
that support your growth and well-being.
You are not alone on this journey.
There are so many people
Who've been there.
who have walked this path before
And there are so many resources available.
to help you along the way.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive
It's been a pleasure.
into When It's Over.
Until next time.
We'll see you next time for another insightful exploration.
Looking forward to it.
And you know what?
What's that?
You don't have to go through all this alone.
You're so right.
The book talks about how important it is to reach out for support.
Ask for help.
Yeah, from friends, family,
Therapists, support groups.
all of that. Yeah.
It's about surrounding yourself
Mm-hmm.
with people who lift you up,
Who believe in you
who encourage you,
Yeah.
who give you a safe space
to just process everything.
to feel your feelings.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's be real.
Mhm.
This whole healing and growth thing,
It's not easy.
it's tough.
It's messy.
Yeah, you can have moments of doubt,
Setbacks.
maybe shed a few tears along the way.
Absolutely.
But the book really emphasizes being kind to yourself,
Yeah, through it all,
recognizing that you're human.
you're allowed to make mistakes.
You don't have to be perfect.
You're not perfect.
No one is.
It's about learning to forgive yourself
Yeah.
for past choices
And taking those lessons.
and using them to grow.
So it's like giving yourself permission to be perfectly imperfect,
I love that.
to acknowledge that you're a work in progress,
We all are.
and to celebrate that progress,
Celebrate the wins.
no matter how small.
big or small.
It's about shifting that mindset
Mhm.
from self-criticism,
To self-compassion.
and that could be so powerful.
So freeing.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into When It's Over,
Yeah.
I hope you're walking away
Mm-hmm.
with a sense of hope.
feeling empowered.
And maybe even with a few tools
Through practical strategies.
to help you navigate those endings in your own life.
Because remember,
Yeah.
every ending
Is a chance
for a new beginning.
to redefine yourself,
Rewrite your story.
create a future
That's more fulfilling.
than you ever thought possible.
Exactly.
And keep exploring these ideas.
Yeah, keep asking those tough questions.
And keep seeking out those resources
that support you.
that lift you up.
You are not alone.
There are so many people
Who have walked this path before you.
and there are so many resources available
To guide you.
to support you.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into When It's Over.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you next time for another insightful exploration.
Until then.
Take care.